So let's talk about the whole idea about, again, the idea about being an expert in the field,
Okay.
and perhaps even peer review. You know, and how do I want to phrase this question? I don't know, are you published or not? Do you have any published articles?
I was published remotely many, many years ago. Not recently though.
When you published, were your articles reviewed by peers at all?
Yeah, the articles that I have published are all peer reviewed.
Okay, so that's one check basically to make sure that your expertise is being validated or questioned or something like that.
If it's within the particular field that's being tried.
Okay.
So
right.
if you had a petition by a party to have equal parenting, okay, and one party or another by request, there was an agreed order for a child custody evaluation. And so you get this child custody evaluator who, by reputation apparently is an expert, by advertisement is an expert. It has to be supported there has to be support in the curriculum vitae that they're an expert in that particular question.
Okay.
Are they an expert in child attachment? Are they an expert in parental alienation? Are they an expert in parent-child relationships? And when you can see experts that are very diversified in their publications, kind of a jack of all trades. You can see experts that pad their CVs, where they attend some seminar. It's 3 or 4 days long. We all do it. We go to a seminar, and there's multiple lectures on each day.
Yeah.
So you go from one little room to another, and you do the lectures, and you self-mark the credit hours that you apparently attended.
Yeah.
There's no, it's an honor system, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then most people just say conference. Such and such conference, 33 credit hours,
right.
on such and such dates.
But that's only this much of a line, where
right.
33
but
1 hour.
If you go, okay, well, I attended 10 separate lectures, well, that just makes your CV, that's padding your CV.
It is padding your CV.
I look more what it is.
It's very interesting, because when I see that, what I do is look at the CEs a lot of times.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Yeah.
You can tell blatantly that's just padding something. So you've got 8 pages of your...
So it looks impressive.
It looks impressive, and I'm like, this is garbage.
Yeah, it looks impressive to somebody that's not in that field.
Right.
Like the judiciary or some attorney.
Right.
Oh yeah, this looks impressive.
But you mentioned the term an advertised expert versus what I would say is an acknowledged expert. You actually had Dr. Fabricius was an acknowledged expert in his field.
Oh yeah, he's a peer review acknowledged expert in early attachment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the hired gun, the advertised expert, Dr. Alyssa Sherry, from what I hear you saying, I don't remember all of this stuff actually right offhand, but it sounds to me like what I hear you saying is that they brought in, the Texas Family Law Foundation brought in an advertised expert with a padded CV to contradict and supposedly refute the testimony of the acknowledged expert who's peer reviewed and everybody understands is an expert. Is that what took place there at that hearing?
That would be speculation.
Okay.
Of course, we don't have any evidence to suggest that there was a connection between Alyssa Sherry and the TFLF, but we just have coincidental, circumstantial events.
So coincidental.
All of a sudden.
So circumstantial.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you have this person that testifies against a shared parenting bill that dichotomizes the crowd and says one side is the Fathers' Rights Movement people, which was a false statement.
Yeah.
I'm not a member of the Fathers' Rights Movement, nor ever have been. And several people around me, they weren't members of the Fathers' Rights Movement. Now there was members of the equal, what are they called? Equal Parenting, Texas or Americans
for Parental Equality.
For equality, I think. Yeah. And on the other side, there was a whole crowd of parents over there. It wasn't just domestic violence. And, the statement that she's deconstructed all the research, well, I don't believe that.
She doesn't have the ability.
Well,
in my opinion.
Well, if you even just read one part of the research, Warshak's consensus review, when you read to the consensus review, and he's a world expert.
Yeah.
He talks about the scenario of how one parent can be incentivized to keep catalyzing conflict because they're trained that to doing so,
Yeah.
then the perception is that because there's parental conflict and not co-parenting, there's no way to get equalized parenting.
Yeah.
And it takes a really good investigative process to realize that.
Yeah.
So, if you really are, in my opinion, if you're really deconstructing the research and you see that all the research shows that a variable that decreases parental conflict is starting out with equal parenting.
Right.
Unless there's clear and convincing evidence that there's harm to the child in the current situation.
Right.
Not presumptive evidence, not guesswork evidence,
Right.
not let's explain away, the parent that's showing more pathological symptoms, and then let's, not explain away the normal parent, okay? And, that's not the criteria,
Right.
okay?